House hunting can be scary, but in the western suburbs this October, it's downright haunted. From Burr Ridge to Willow Springs, the usual buyers aren't the only ones looking for a place to settle down. The monsters are out, the villains are shopping, and even the Headless Horseman has an eye on property values. Welcome to House Hunters Halloween Edition, a tour packed with creepy comps, haunted history, and a scary number of dad jokes. I'm Eric with Andersen Realty Group, and I'll be your guide. The penguin has finally found his perch in Burr Ridge, and the choice makes perfect sense. Penguins like it cold, and Burr Ridge. Plus, the penguin likes nice things, and he can actually afford to live here. With an average single-family home price over $1 million, Burr Ridge is the home to estates that would make Bruce Wayne's jaw drop. And unlike Gotham, they actually have working security systems. Burr Ridge is one of the most expensive of the western suburbs, and with his well-funded criminal empire, that's not a problem for the penguin. The man does not do starter homes. He wants a lair with enough square footage to fit an iceberg in the basement, and Burr Ridge is known for oversized estates. Many of them are tucked into gated communities, which works out nicely for the penguin. It makes it easier to keep Batman out and the butler service in. He appreciates a neighborhood where even the HOA has deep pockets. Although in Burr Ridge, it's more about keeping lawns trimmed than about keeping henchmen in line. And he's never short on dining options. The penguin loves the village center, not only because of the boutiques, but because it's one of the few places he can find fish on ice outside of Lake Michigan. Eddie Merlot's keeps him stocked with seafood, where he insists on the shrimp cocktail, mostly because it's the only thing colder than his personality. For variety, he heads to Oak Brook for lunch or Hinsdale for an upscale stroll before coming back to Burr Ridge to plot his next jewel heist. The penguin may have a heart of ice, but even he knows the schools are top-notch. And Niche calls Burr Ridge the 7th best place to retire in Illinois. And even a crime boss likes to know he can grow old in comfort. The penguin finally found a place where tuxedos are welcome attire, and not just for black tie galas, but for actual tuxedo birds. With easy access to I-55, Burr Ridge gives him convenient getaway routes for when Batman shows up. For the penguin, Burr Ridge really is the perfect nest. Jack Skellington, the Pumpkin King, has settled into Homer Glen, and it's hard to imagine a better match. When your entire life revolves around Halloween, it helps to have Bankston's Pumpkin Farm just around the corner. Bankston's has something for everyone. For Jack, it's the perfect place for research, and for Zero, it's the perfect place for recess. Jack appreciates space too. When you're all bones, you need room to stretch out, and Homer Glen delivers with its larger lots and semi-rural feel. He finally has room for a graveyard display that would be the envy of Halloween Town. The average sale price here is around $610,000, so unlike Burr Ridge, you don't need a villain's fortune to live in Homer Glen. Jack may rule Halloween Town, but he still likes to eat, and Homer Glen's restaurant scene gives him options. He loves local spots like Chesden's Pizza, where he keeps asking for extra ghost peppers. And he's a regular at the local Starbucks, where he's been insisting the baristas keep a pumpkin spice latte on tap for him all year round. Homer Glen's community life is perfect for Jack. It has forest preserves, trails, and quiet corners where even the Pumpkin King can enjoy an autumn walk. The squirrels scatter when they see him coming, which Jack doesn't mind one bit. And he says the schools are great, but the PTA is getting annoyed with his constant push to make haunting an extracurricular. With pumpkins in abundance and plenty of space, Homer Glen gives the Pumpkin King exactly what he's always wanted. A place where every day feels a little bit like October 31st. Frankenstein's monster recently visited Downers Grove, and he knew right away it was the perfect match. After all, this is one of the only suburbs where you can find a historic cemetery right in the center of downtown. He loves the fact that he can visit his ancestors and grab an espresso without breaking stride. When it comes to real estate, Downers Grove gives him plenty of options. He has a soft spot for the older homes, especially those that creak and groan as much as he does. Still, even a patchwork monster knows when it's time for an upgrade. Sparks aren't always a good thing, which is why he appreciates a house with updated electrical. The average sale price for a single-family home here is just over $650,000, which is way cheaper than his laboratory in Ingolstadt. Downers Grove gives him the kind of community where he can blend right in. Between Oktoberfest, the holiday parades, and the Tivoli Theater marquee lighting up Main Street, nobody bats an eye at someone who looks like he's just been stitched together. He likes the easy train access to the city, though people still stare when he tries to fit through the turnstile. And as the greenest monster there is, Frankenstein's monster has a special appreciation for Downers Grove, which has been recognized as Tree City, USA for decades. For Frankenstein's monster, Downers Grove is not just a place to settle down, it's the perfect place to be reassembled. The Headless Horseman has chosen Naperville as his haunt. The Riverwalk Bridge looks like it came right out of Sleepy Hollow, which makes him feel right at home. He may have lost his head, but he hasn't lost his sense of property value. Naperville offers him the kind of housing he wants, with historic charm and modern convenience. The average single-family home price here is $776,000. And that might spook some buyers, but the Horseman says it's only fair for a city that knows how to keep heads turning. Downtown Naperville gives him no shortage of places to eat. He likes Hugo's Frog Bar, even though the portions are a little light for a guy who rides all night long. At Lou Malnati's, he carves up deep dish with the same precision he once used on the battlefield. He's also a big fan of Centennial Beach, though he avoids the cannonball contest. It makes him self-conscious when everyone else is shouting cannonball, and he can't, on account of being headless. Naperville's lifestyle works for him too. He has trails to ride, festivals to haunt, and a downtown as legendary as he is. For the Headless Horseman, Naperville is the perfect mix of haunting and high living. Professor Snape has chosen Elmhurst as his suburban hideout, and for good reason. With its family vibe and strong schools, it's the kind of place where he could daydream about raising a young wizard with Lily at his side. He's impressed with the schools, except for their lack of defense against the dark arts classes. He finds the city's green spaces useful too. Wilder Park Conservatory doubles as his greenhouse for potions ingredients. To most residents, it's a lovely collection of flowers and exotic plants. To Snape, it's a great place to shop for Eye of Newt. When it comes to real estate, Elmhurst offers exactly the kind of quality a meticulous wizard demands. The average single-family home sells for around $826,000, which Snape calls a bargain compared to the upkeep of a drafty Scottish castle. The homes are well kept, the streets are lined with trees, and he says the neighbors are far less nosy and noisy than the Gryffindors ever were. He likes the metro well enough, but he's still looking for platform 9 3/4. On the bright side, it gets him downtown quickly and without the soot of the flu network. When it comes to dining, Snape is a creature of habit. You'll find him brooding at Brew Point Coffee. He'll tell you their pumpkin drinks don't hold a candle to the leaky cauldrons, but secretly, he likes Brew Points better. Elmhurst offers him plenty of restaurants, but most evenings he prefers a quiet corner and a strong cup of coffee. He says Elmhurst is full of wisdom, though Dumbledore still won't tell him how to get more parking downtown. Even for a wizard who thrives in shadows and sarcasm, Snape admits that Elmhurst casts a pretty good spell. The Phantom of the Opera has traded the Paris catacombs for Grange, and he couldn't be happier. With the historic Grange Theater as his stage, the Phantom can't help himself. He keeps trying to turn every movie showing into a revival of his musical. He also finds the homes here worthy of his attention. The average single-family home sells for about $791,000, which he says is a fair price for a home with great acoustics. The elegant architecture reminds him of Paris, only without the drafty tunnels and leaking ceilings. And of course, a basement large enough for a piano and a few chandeliers is a must. Life in LaGrange gives the Phantom plenty of inspiration. He likes the walkable streets, the lively downtown, and the steady calendar of festivals that always bring a crowd. The annual pet parade has given him some trouble, though. His buddy Dracula keeps trying to enter vampire bats, but they always get disqualified for trying to feed on the other contestants. Dining adds its own drama. He's a regular at Palmer Place and the Elm, but forbidden noodles is the Phantom's favorite, because to him, anything forbidden feels like home. As strong as the academics are at LaGrange's schools, the thing that really stands out to the Phantom is their vocal instruction. For him, LaGrange isn't just a place to live, it's a stage, and every night feels like opening night. Count Dracula has traded the Carpathian Mountains for Hinsdale. With its stately homes and quiet, tree-lined streets, it's one of the few suburbs where you don't have to import your own castle. They're already there. The housing market here fits his appetite. The average single-family home sells for about $1.72 million. That sounds frightening to some, but Dracula knows it's still cheaper than replacing a castle roof every century. He admires the elegant architecture, and especially the stonework, which reminds him of home. Of course, he only does his house hunting after sundown. Hinsdale's lifestyle gives him plenty to enjoy. At Cafe La Fortuna, he orders his coffee blacker than midnight. Fuller House is a favorite, where he raises eyebrows by asking for his steak very rare. The food is so good that he even got over that one time they accidentally brought him garlic bread. As great as the schools are, Dracula would be happier if they went to night classes only. For him, Hinsdale is more than a suburb. It's a village of stately homes, quiet nights, and just the right amount of shadows. Professor Van Helsing has chosen Wheaton as his base, and it's not hard to see why. Wheaton College is sometimes called the evangelical Harvard, which makes it the natural headquarters for a man devoted to fighting darkness. He says Wheaton is the only place where you can find 3 churches on the same block, and not one has ever given him a hard time about bringing a stake inside. The homes here come with peace of mind. The average single-family home sells for about $630,000, which he calls a small price for security. And it's not far from Hinsdale, where, rumor has it, Dracula has recently settled. And it's just about 10 miles apart, which is the perfect commute for Van Helsing. He enjoys the community too. At Cantini Park, the gardens are pleasant enough, but what really reassures him are the tanks and the military exhibits. It's the only park where he feels properly armed for a night out. And the Billy Graham Center Museum reminds him that you can fight darkness with more than garlic in Latin. Dining in Wheaton keeps him sharp. He eats at Ivy sometimes, though he says the name makes him worry about creeping vines. At Eclectic Cafe, he insists on extra garlic with his omelet. The schools are strong, which is vital when you need to make sure your prom date isn't a vampire. To Van Helsing, Wheaton is more than a suburb. It's home turf in the fight against darkness, with plenty of churches, crosses, and coffee shops to keep him sharp. Lemont is a town with 2 sides. It has historic limestone quarries and a modern suburban community. Naturally, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde feel right at home. By day, Jekyll admires the charm of Main Street. By night, Hyde finds the shadow alleys most interesting. Lemont's housing market mirrors Jekyll's split personality with both newer builds and historic homes. The average price is $637,000, which Jekyll calls a sensible investment. Hyde calls it a steal. The community offers something for Jekyll and Hyde too. Jekyll enjoys the history found in Lemont's churches and cemeteries. Hyde says cemeteries mean fewer noise complaints after dark. Jekyll hikes the I&M Canal Trail for fresh air. Hyde prefers it for lurking opportunities. And when they visit Argonne National Laboratory, Jekyll praises the research, while Hyde keeps asking where they hide the secret serum. Dining is no different. La Dolce Vita means the sweet life, where Jekyll orders a fine meal. Hyde thinks the name is false advertising unless it comes with a bar fight. They both love Cog Hill, too. Jekyll enjoys a careful round of golf, while Hyde is always driving the carts into the sand trap. For Jekyll and Hyde, Lemont isn't just another suburb. It's the perfect balance, a town where a man can keep his respectability by day and still let his darker side wander at night. Willow Springs has a haunted reputation, and no figure is more tied to it than Resurrection Mary. According to legend, she was a young woman who left a dance hall along Archer Avenue in the 1930s, only to be struck and killed by a car on her way home. Ever since, drivers have reported seeing a woman in white along the road, often vanishing into the gates of Resurrection Cemetery. Mary never left Willow Springs behind. Drivers say they still catch glimpses of her late at night, sometimes even pulling over to offer a ride before realizing their passenger has already disappeared. Locals say she has been ghosting Uber drivers long before texting made it popular. The thing that really perks her up is the price of the homes. The average single-family home sells for about $480,000. Mary calls that a hauntingly good deal, cheaper than most suburbs, and with plenty of atmosphere. She wanders the winding roads of Archer Avenue and drifts through the nearby forest preserves, which are quiet enough to hear a leaf fall or footsteps that don't belong to you. For Resurrection Mary, Willow Springs is more than a stop on the map. It's where history and legend blur together, and every night feels like a ghost story waiting to be told. From Burr Ridge to Willow Springs, the monsters have staked their claims and found their forever haunts. When you're ready for your next move, I'll make sure the only chills come from the Halloween air, not the housing market. I'm Eric with Andersen Realty Group, a family-owned brokerage where we treat our clients like family.